Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Trigger. Today, Travis, we have an awesome episode getting into college football. Are you ready for the season?
I am pumped.
Welcome back to the Sports Trigger. Travis, the greatest season ever, college football season, is starting up this week. We're not going to count this last weekend. This is a big week. You're actually going to be down here in Florida with me Thursday, so we're going to watch some Thursday night games, and then Saturday we're actually going to go live for a little pre-game action there, so pretty pumped for that as well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be our first live episode. And so let's just talk about, I'm really pumped about a lot of games. What are some of the games that really excite you this week?
So I have one that Thursday I'm excited about. I mean, there aren't too many, close games that'll be on Thursday, and I guess you could argue against this too, but Ohio State, Indiana.
Yes.
I think it'll be interesting. It's
in Bloomington.
It's in Bloomington. IU's played Ohio State close recently in recent years, and, right now the spread is Ohio State at 21, so I can understand with what Ohio State has coming back, but, I'm very excited because Indiana has some good offensive players coming back, being their quarterback, Legault, I believe.
Yep.
They have Cobbs coming back, and they have another wide receiver. I can't remember his name, but he was their second receiving person last year. They're missing a few running backs, but still, I think in Bloomington, after what happened with Ohio State against Clemson last year, granted, this is Clemson, a whole different animal, but what happened in the bowl game, I kind of would like to see some feathers ruffled. I want to see Indiana get in the backfield and, get JT Barrett, because I'm not all in on him as being a passer. So I think IU can get him. Granted, Kevin Wilson's there now at Ohio State. So that's going to be interesting. He's going to try to get some revenge. We've talked about that off air. But that's definitely a big one for me. I'll just leave that there, and I'll leave another game or two and see what you say. Let
me jump in here because I'm an IU grad. So, although I didn't really care about IU football while I was there, I still kind of follow them, and this storyline's just interesting. So IU returns most of their defensive starters from last year, which is huge. They have their defensive coordinator taking over as head coach, Allen over there, and he's a good one. And last year they were very much improved. Actually, on offense is where they kind of slacked off, which I expect them to be a little better this year. So I think this is going to end up being closer than what people think. Now, what the final score ends up, I actually think they're going to end up covering Ohio State. They'll win over. I think last time I checked, you said 21 or something like that. I think the last time I checked, it's 20.5. So if it's 20.5, I could easily see Ohio State winning by more than that. But at the same time, first game of the year in Bloomington, there will probably be more Ohio State fans than Indiana fans there. That's how it normally works for Indiana football games. But with that being said, I think it could be sluggish early on. And if IU doesn't turn the ball over on offense, and I feel like Kevin Wilson, everybody knows that he's going to come out and try and attack and score a lot.
Right.
Because he's got a little bit of bad blood there. If he presses too much, Ohio State turns it over a little bit. This could be a very tight game. So I'm very interested to see this game just for those storylines. I think Ohio State ultimately wins. Indiana's going to show you that they're going to be competitive again this year, and last year wasn't a fluke. Friday, there's not really a game that I'm really concerned about. Washington, Rutgers. Rutgers isn't that good. Washington should roll through that. But then you bring up Saturday, and Saturday, my Michigan Wolverines play against the Florida Gators, all the suspensions, all the new faces for Michigan. It's going to be an unbelievable football game. I'm really pumped for that. I'm a little nervous I'm not going to lie, Michigan replacing a lot of guys, but I do like the fact that the defensive line is going to very strong for Michigan. A lot of returners and Gary, especially on defense there. And then you have McCray as well at linebacker. A lot of people forget about that. And then on offense, Spate's going to be the QB. And the running back field, running backs and receivers, I feel like are going to be a lot more athletic than what we've been in the past. So good vibes coming from Michigan. A little uncertainty on the Florida side with the quarterback. So going to be a very entertaining game in my mind. So that's the game I'm most pumped for on Saturday. But obviously the big one, FSU and Alabama, that's kind of hard to overstate there.
Right.
I have FSU picked for that game. I think they're going to beat Bama. I've gotten some hate online for expressing that. A lot of Bama fans are thinking that I'm a little bit delusional. But, I'm sticking to my guns, even though as soon as I made those picks, everybody seemed to come out and bash Saban. So that is probably the worst thing that could have happened. Former players and coaches labeling him as overrated. So,
yes, that is tough.
What do you think about the Saturday matchups? I know Notre Dame plays same time as Michigan, so we're going to have the split screens going on, so we both can watch that. But outside of that, Florida State, Alabama, and any other games that interest you?
There aren't really any games outside the ones we discussed for Saturday. That Texas one, I'm a little interested because, Tom Herman's debut, want to see how they do. And Maryland's kind of sneaky. I think they could be okay this year, maybe make a bowl game. But Sunday, I am very interested. West Virginia, Vol Tech.
Yes.
You have Kevin Fuentes still at Vol Tech. They lost their QB early, which they didn't expect, but Will Grier, West Virginia. For those people who haven't heard of him or don't remember him, he was at Florida 2 years ago when they were off to, I believe, undefeated season, or maybe
really
they only lost
too.
one. Yeah, he was sharp, and so he's going to be their starter this year. Both teams will be very interesting because I'm not saying Virginia Tech will win the ACC. I'm not saying West Virginia will win the Big 12. But I think both of them could be very competitive. They could be very sneaky this year, especially West Virginia if Grier has a great year. So I think that's a game where the person who comes out of it will kind of showcase themselves and be like, hey, we're actually going to compete in our conference, and they could eventually be a dark horse in the college football playoff. I'm not saying I'm picking them.
Virginia Tech?
I think West Virginia. West Virginia has a greater chance, especially being in the Big 12. You think Florida State, I honestly don't see anyone, taking them out in the ACC. But Big 12,
Clemson.
You know what? People forget about Louisville. I will give them that, but I don't know. I think Virginia Tech, they still have Bud Foster, so I believe in that defense. I've always loved their, special teams and defense. They've always been known for that. So, yes, there are different teams in ACC.
Yeah,
Miami obviously is there.
I think they'll be improved this year. Wake Forest, who knows how they'll be. They have some starters returning, and North Carolina is kind of a wild card as well. So,
well, and North Carolina has the quarterback that was playing at LSU, I believe Harris, right? He transferred, I think.
And you know who else? A lot of people are picking NC State as a. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that right now. I just can't get behind the whole NC State move. You know what? Honestly, when I was looking at the West Virginia and Virginia Tech, I'm going based on history of Virginia Tech just faltering early. If they have anything, I think West Virginia is going to win that handedly. 13 to 17 points probably. Might surprise you, but
I would say more.
even more. I think Greer's going to come out on fire. He's a really good quarterback. He looked really good at Florida, and to be honest, if West Virginia knows anything, it's offense. So with Virginia Tech, new quarterback, they're going to come out a little sluggish. I think they're going to get beat up pretty bad in my mind. The other game that I had some hope for at one point was the BYU LSU game, but after seeing BYU this last week, their offense just looked. I texted you in the middle of the game. I was like, "This is one of the most boring games I've ever seen," And it was,
terrible.
knock on Portland State. I mean, they played a great game, but it was just a terrible game to watch. So, with that being said, guys, thanks a lot for joining us on another episode of the Sports Trigger, and be sure to listen in to us live this Saturday for a college football special. Thanks a lot.